That's all she wrote. Tennessee basketball season is over at the hands of Houston in the Elite Eight. What went wrong? Why this game was a complete reversal from that of the Sweet 16. Get your coffee. It's your therapy session here on a Monday morning.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into it. It's your Monday morning Locked On Vols. I do appreciate you for being here, and we're going to get through this, right? Never easy when your team gets ousted in a college football playoff, gets ousted after a fun basketball season in upsetting fashion, or in a deep tournament run like Tennessee was on right here. And so we're going to kind of work through it and ask a lot of questions and kind of just talk to one another, bounce ideas off one another, kind of get through this. But, you don't win every single game. You win a lot of them. Tennessee Athletics wins a whole lot of games. It's these ones you don't win, specifically at the end of the year, that really stinks. Today's episode is brought to you in part by our friends over at FanDuel Sportsbook, where new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Again, that is at FanDuel Sportsbook. Kind of be all over the place right now. Again, I released this on, overnight, as I always do for Monday. This is Monday's show. I'm recording this, like an hour after, 30 minutes after, we'll call it 45 minutes after Tennessee's final buzzer sounded on the 2024-2025 season. So kind of going to be all over the place. We're going to break down what this loss was, why it was so different from that of whipping Kentucky's tail on a Friday night, what went wrong, big picture stuff in segment 2, season as a whole, and then what needs to change for Tennessee in order to not have this feeling yet again for the second straight year. And then we'll talk a little spring football, big injury of note with Tennessee's tight end Miles Kitselman. That's coming up here on today's show. Twitter Tuesday. Get in those questions for the mailbag tomorrow. @_Cain or @Locked On Vols. Any questions you want, football, baseball, basketball, recruiting, all that and more, @_Cainer and @Locked On Vols for tomorrow's Twitter Tuesday. All right, so, geez, guys. 60-59. Tennessee lost by 19 points. Tennessee trailed by as many as 22 just right before halftime. Tennessee just got whipped. And everything, and again, we call it fair right here, right? I don't like Kentucky. I don't like Auburn. I don't like Florida. I don't like Alabama. I grew up in East Tennessee. I grew up going and watching Tennessee football and basketball games, okay? But you guys know me. I call everything fair right now. So if you go and you roll the tape of Locked On Vols postcasts on a Friday night, okay, of Tennessee beating Kentucky to reach the Elite Eight for the second straight season, if you hit replay on that and change out Tennessee and Kentucky to Tennessee and Houston, you flip Tennessee to the side of Kentucky and put Houston where Tennessee was in that postcast show. Just rewind, play, watch. It's the same thing. Tennessee got its tail whipped. Tennessee got, I'm not going to say embarrassed, because, Tennessee showed up and really tried hard in the second half. But you know what I'm saying? It's true. Tennessee made it a game there for a little bit and, tried, knocked on the door for 16 points, knocked on the door 14 points, knocked on the door, got down to 10 points at one time. And then, you have a lane violation there on a free throw. What are you doing? Just continuing to get out rebound or get out hustled or whatever, leaving a guy wide open and Houston's guys just draining a three. That stuff just continued to happen. But Tennessee really gave it a good run there in that second half, but when you dig yourself into a hole of 22 points in the first half right before halftime, it doesn't matter how good you play in the second half, you're going to lose that basketball game, right, for the most part. Tennessee started this game 1 for 11 from the field, 3 for 22 from the field. In fact, 3 for 22 is how Tennessee started this game, 1 for 15 from 3 in the first half. Just an abysmal half of basketball for the University of Tennessee. Tennessee shot 21% in the first half. Tennessee had 5 assists, a couple of turnovers. Let's see here. How many? 4 turnovers in the first half. Shot 7%. You gotta laugh, right? 7% from downtown, 1 of 15. Turned it over 4 times. Out-rebounded 26-17 in the first half. Out-rebounded on the offensive end 9-6. That led to 8 points off turnovers for Houston in the first half. Houston had 11 second chance points. Again, all these things we're talking about is what Tennessee exploited against Kentucky in the Sweet 16. Your leading scorer at the halftime break was Felix Zapara with 4 points, Jordan Gainey with 4 points. Chaz Lanier had 2 points. He was 1 for 9, 0 for 6 from downtown in the first half. Zakai Ziegler was 1 for 7 from the field, 3 points in the first half. I mean, it was awful. Lanier ended up with 17 points. He got things cooking a little bit there in that second half. Still only 2 of 12 from downtown, 4 of 18 from the field. He was 7 for 7 from the line. I mean, that was a horrendous shooting performance for him. Zakai Ziegler only finished with 5 points. He had 5 assists. He was 1 for 9 in the game, 1 of 6 from 3-point range. I'll tell you what got Tennessee in this game and what was, pressing the envelope, right, in that second half, just really giving Tennessee an opportunity to just try something, to do something. And that was Jordan Gainey. You saw him in the second half against Illinois, second half in some of these other games this year. Jordan Gainey, I thought, played his tail off. Averaged 12 points in the NCAA tournaments so far leading into this game through the first 3 games. He scored 17, 6 of 12 from the field. He made 2 3-pointers. He was good at the line. But again, it was not a very good effort from Igor Milicic. He had 2 points, 5 rebounds. I thought Felix Zapara played really hard at points and times in the first half. He had 9 points leading Tennessee with the boards. But overall, it was a team that just got dominated on the boards, right? 42-35. Offensive rebounding. It felt like the discrepancy here was even much larger. It's 14-12, Houston winning the offensive rebounding battle. Felt like Houston had like 25 offensive rebounds. Houston shot 42% from the field, 36% from downtown. Tennessee shot 29 3-pointers, only made 5. Again, only made 1 of 15 in the first half. They were letting it fly there in the second half, of course, with 14. Tennessee shot 29% overall from the field in this game. Just not much more you can say about it. 12 assists in the game for Tennessee, only 12 assists, whereas Tennessee had... I can't find the turnovers, but 9. 12 assists and 9 turnovers. Just not a good basketball game. And for everything Tennessee did well against Kentucky on Friday night, Tennessee did poorly against Houston. Tennessee, and I saw a lot of people talking about this online, and I couldn't agree more online. I sound like I'm in the early 2000s on the line. Tennessee found out what it's like to play against Tennessee. This is how Tennessee makes teams feel. Suffocating defense, just having no hope on the offensive end, where just nothing is falling, getting beat up and bullied down low. Anytime you make a run to cut it within striking distance, you put them away with a dagger 3 or something like that. I mean, this is what Tennessee does to other teams. And Houston, who is a number 1 seed for a reason, did it to the University of Tennessee on Sunday afternoon. It's unfortunate. It is unfortunate because, again, in the grand scheme of things, we'll talk more big picture stuff in segment 2, but in the grand scheme of things, guys, and again, this is no consolation prize. I'm not saying everybody gets a blue ribbon, okay? But Tennessee is a 2 seed. You made it to where you were seeded. You got beat, not by a Cinderella, not by a Kentucky team that was underseeded or whatever, or, an Arkansas team this year. You got beat by a team that you were supposed to meet in the Elite 8, who was your 1-2 matchup. That was Houston. And Houston handed you the business. Houston whipped you. It's unfortunate because this team was so much fun to watch play this year overall, not on Sunday. Make no mistake about it, not on Sunday. And I mean, Tennessee, again, cut it within 10 points at one point in time. 40-50 was the score. And then there in the final couple of minutes, Houston, 6 of 8 they made from the last 8 shots from the field. They got that lead up to 19 points at 69-50, and that's all she wrote. That is all she wrote. So it was awful to watch. I mean, what the start did it all. Tennessee just could not buy a bucket. Starting the basketball game 3 of 22, shooting 1 of 15 from downtown in the first half. You dig yourself down in a 22-point hole at one point in time, losing 34-15. That's 19 points there heading into the halftime break because you did hit a 3-pointer finally. I think it was Chaz Lanier heading into the break, and you just didn't have didn't have a pulse there. I mean, Tennessee, to its credit, man, it came back and it challenged and it worked hard. It worked its tail off there in that second half. Even Stevens, 35 points apiece by both programs, but you're still going to lose a ton because you couldn't make much stops defensively. So it's frustrating. Again, I know I went through the stat sheet and all that and just kind of talked about what was the difference in this game. Difference in this game was Tennessee couldn't hit shots, and we've seen this in the postseason before. How do you fix that? What about this season overall? How can you take that next step as a program and go on to try to break that barrier of the Final Four? We're going to talk about that here in segment number 2, looking back on the good and the bad from this past basketball season. That is coming up next as we continue on here with a Monday morning edition of your Locked On Vols. Stay tuned. March Madness is here. FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on all that action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 or 200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets towards the end. Yeah, Tennessee's out right now, but the game's still going on, and you can make yourself feel better by jumping in and getting in that action and winning some money like never before, potentially over here at FanDuel. Tournament games happening almost every single day. There's always something exciting happening right now. Plus, the FanDuel Sportsbook app, it's super easy to use. And when I win, I get paid instantly. No more waiting around, trying to get your payout. You get paid instantly. So visit FanDuel.com today to get in on all the college hoops action all tournament long. That's $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins for new customers. FanDuel.com and on the safe, secure FanDuel Sportsbook app. It is the official sponsor of so many great things, but for me, it's where I make every single moment more with FanDuel. Eric Cain here. Welcome you back to your Monday Locked On Vols, segment number 2. Tennessee falls 69-50 to the top-seeded Houston in the Midwest region. Tennessee, of course, the 2-seeded Volunteers meeting in the Elite Eight and in Indianapolis, where the road ends for the University of Tennessee. Talked a little bit about the game in segment 1. It was just a horrendous start. Didn't get much better score-wise, even though you gave it your all there in the second half and played much improved basketball. Defense was still an issue, obviously. But it just couldn't be more reversed from how you're feeling right now, how I'm talking right now in terms of covering this loss. Boy, Kentucky was there on Friday nights. And so many Kentucky fans I've seen on the line, right, on social media coming out there and trying to throw jabs at Tennessee fans and everything. And two wrongs don't make a right. I think that looks so incredibly embarrassing in my opinion. But hey, again, like we always say here on the show, fan is short for fanatics. Win or lose, fan is short for fanatics. So everything Tennessee did so well on Friday, Tennessee did so poorly on Saturday, and losing to Houston, who's been a really, really good team all year long. Again, 69-50 after the horrendous start. So, for me, big picture, this team. Let's come around. Let's huddle up here. Big picture wise, this was a fun team to watch. Zakai Ziegler has been a fan favorite, a darling in college basketball. His story, his upbringing, where he came from, the obstacles he's had to overcome, even when he's been here. We can go on and on talking. See if there's a documentary about him coming out here in a little bit. We'll see. But there's so many layers to the Zakai Ziegler story. Jamon Meshack, the underdog. He's been told this. He's been told this. He's been told this. He and Zakai Ziegler both have been a part of more basketball wins in this program's history between those two. They've been a part of the most basketball wins in this program's history. Zakai Ziegler, Jamon Meshack, there's so much fun. There's so much fun to root for. There's so much fun to watch basketball. Chaz Lanier, great addition to this team, right? He was a blast, and everybody's saying that he's labeled as a bust or he did that and he did that. He lit nobody else. Chris Lofton tried 3 or 4 times in a row in terms of the season. Nobody in the history of Tennessee basketball has made more 3-pointers than Chaz Lanier. Chaz Lanier was not really great for this example, but a slam dunk of a portal addition. He was exactly who you wanted him to be when coming to Tennessee. Sure, he was horrendous from the field in this game, 4 of 18. I hear you. Nobody did in round 1, 29 points. Nobody did in round 2, 20 points. Nobody did in the Sweet 16, 18 points or whatever. Chaz Lanier has been good for you. He was fun to watch. He was a great addition to this team. Jordan Gainey has been awesome to watch him get better and evolve and develop into the player that he is now. He's been so much fun to watch this year. Felix Okpara was a great addition to this team. Cade Phillips getting in there was fun to watch. Igor was fun to watch at times. This was a likable bunch of Tennessee Volunteers. No, it was not like the Grant and the Admiral and the Lamonte and Bowden and Bone. It wasn't that team, or the E-Pons and so on and so forth, the Fulkersons. I'm not saying it was like, those teams were like near and dear to the fan base. I'm not saying this team isn't, but this team was fun and you rooted for them and they were good. Again, more than 25 wins in a season for the fourth straight year. Tennessee goes not only back to the second Elite Eight in consecutive years, third Elite Eight in program history. Tennessee goes on this great run there and goes to the SEC tournament championship game and was in contention for a number one seed until Selection Sunday. Tennessee was fun. Tennessee broke some records. This was a fun and enjoyable team to watch. Sure, there's going to be off nights. Tennessee won a national championship in baseball last year, okay? Every single time Tennessee doesn't score a run in the first couple innings, every single time Tennessee falls behind in a baseball game, there are people saying, what's going on? These guys don't care. They're complacent. Again, fan short for fanatic. Fan short for fanatic. Like, there are bad games. It happens. That's how the cookie crumbles, quote unquote, right? But for the most part, this has been a really, really fun team to watch and a team to cover. But what can Tennessee do to take down that next barrier, to get to the program's first ever Final Four? Well, of course, Tennessee's got a whole lot to replace, specifically in the backcourt. And we'll do more shows on this. We'll talk about portal additions and targets. And there's a big time shooter that's on campus beginning of this week, okay? And we'll talk about this as the week goes on. But Tennessee has got to go out there in the transfer portal and win again. Tennessee has won in the transfer portal last couple of rounds, right? Okpara, Chaz Lanier. Tennessee's done really, really good. Darlington Stone Dubar, had his moments here at Tennessee. Tennessee's done really, really well in the transfer portal. Tennessee has got to hit in the transfer portal once again. So we'll continue to talk about that. But, what does that type of player look like? We know that Tennessee is always, 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 always going to be a defensive first basketball team. We just know it. Rick Barnes, now things can always change. Again, I don't want to speak for him, but he pretty much said the other day in Indianapolis prior to the Sweet 16, I guess it was prior to the Elite Eight, whatever day it was, that he fully intends on being Tennessee's coach next year. He's already thinking about how they're going to assemble the roster and all that type of stuff. He, hadn't even thought about it. He pretty much said, hey, I'm back. Okay, I'm not going anywhere. So as long as Rick Barnes is your head coach here at Tennessee, you are going to maximize your effort defensively, okay? You are going to be 1 through 5 in terms of best defensive teams in the country over there at Ken Palm. You're going to be one of the best perimeter defending teams in the country, all that and more, etc. You're going to be one of the most efficient defensive teams in the country, okay? But for Tennessee to take down that next step in the tournament, get to the program's first Final Four, what more can you do? You've already gone out and gotten a Dalton Connect, and nobody thought Dalton Connect was going to end up being who he was, right? He was second-team all-conference in the Big Sky or whatever, coming over from Colorado State. He was in JUCO a couple years before that. Nobody could predict Zakai was going to turn into Zakai. Now, Dalton Connect was going to turn into Dalton Connect. Now, they took him for a reason. They liked his game. They liked a lot of his makeup. But you went and got Dalton Connect, which was a grand slam, home run, slam dunk, whatever metaphor or analogy you want to give it. That was a great addition. You went out and got Chaz Lanier, and like I highlighted earlier, he's been everything you wanted him to be here at Tennessee. So it's not like Tennessee's not gone out and searching for offense in the portal, and that's what you're doing with a specific guard that's on campus here at the beginning of the week from Virginia, who made over 100 three-pointers this year. Again, more on him as the week goes on and kind of what's going on there. Tennessee's going to have to go out and find some offense, but should Tennessee give more of a focus on a big man guy that can go in there and get some points? You need a rim protector. You absolutely need a rim protector, okay? You've got to have a guy that can really, really help you defensively down there. But wouldn't it be nice to have a post player that can go get you a double-double, that can go get you on the reg, can go get you 20 potentially? Tennessee's not really had that presence down low consistently since Grant Williams. Consistently, okay? I know Fulkerson had one year that was fantastic. I'm saying consistently. Is that too much ask? Can you get both of those? I don't know. I think Tennessee needs more of an offensive threat in the front court. I do. Because we know Tennessee's going to try to go address the scoring in the backcourt because they've done it each of the past 2 cycles. So how can Tennessee break down that barrier in terms of getting to the program's first Final Four and not stalling out in the Elite Eight like it's done the last 2 years? Got to go find more scoring. You got to go find more scoring. But again, that's kind of a tricky situation because you know Tennessee demands excellence on defense, and that's where everything starts. Chaz Lanier bought into that, and he was a really, really good player here. Can you find more than one? Can you find a couple of efficient, couple of high-volume shooters and scorers that will also buy into the defensive philosophy here at Tennessee? That is how I think that you are going to have to break down into that next round of the Final Four. Rick Barnes, Tennessee, let me start here. Tennessee as a program has gone to the Elite Eight 11 times. As a program has gone to the Sweet 16 11 times. 11 times in program history, Tennessee's gone to the Sweet 16 4 times with Rick Barnes. Tennessee has gone to the Elite Eight 3 times in program history. The last 2 years consecutively has been with Rick Barnes. Tennessee as a program has never made it to a Final Four. Tennessee's never made it to a Final Four. That is still where Tennessee's trying to get to in the years to come. And with Barnes, your window, that window right there's, it's getting pretty thin, right? He's not going to coach forever. So we'll see what happens. Rick Barnes specifically, 10 Sweet 16s. He's gone to 10 and coached in 10 Sweet 16s, 4 of which have been with Tennessee. Rick Barnes has coached in 5 Elite Eights, 2 of which have been with Tennessee. Rick Barnes has been to 1 Final Four. That was 2003 at Texas. Right now, Rick Barnes is known for being a Hall of Fame coach, a Hall of Fame person, a devout Christian, a really, really good coach, a great mentor. I want him. I don't want him to go anywhere. I hope Rick Barnes coaches here for 20 more years. It won't happen. But I hope Rick Barnes coaches here for 20 more years. And this is not a brimstone type of, sermon here, okay? The day after Tennessee gets bounced from the tournament. That's not my style, and that's not what this show has been about so far. But it is absolutely fair. Rick Barnes is known for being a really, really good coach and getting his team to kind of that plateau, 16, knocking on the door, right? Sweet 16, Elite 8. He's had a lot of good teams, only 1 Final Four appearance. What needs to change for Rick Barnes to get Tennessee there next year? And I think I pointed that out. There's a number of other things. We'll continue to talk about it, but I think I've kind of laid that out there, that blueprint. So you're welcome. You're welcome. If you listen to Locked On Vols, you know why Tennessee's going to get in the Final Four next year. Now, you got to go out there and do it, of course, and we'll see what happens. Man, I love this program, the direction it is under Rick Barnes, the direction it can. I'm so glad Rick Barnes looks like he's going to be coaching next year for Tennessee, unless something happens and he wants to go in retirement. This program has never been as good as it's been under Rick Barnes. The retirement Rick, the second round Rick, all those jokes, they don't hold much weight anymore. And I understand you're frustrated, and we're all frustrated because you got whipped. You got embarrassed in the first half in the Elite Eight. I get it. But man, 1 or 2 adjustments along the way, and it starts here in spring when you're assembling your roster for next year. Maybe this can be a different conversation a year from now. Maybe we're on this show on a Sunday afternoon and I'm recording or going live. Who knows? I've gone live one time on this channel. Maybe I'll go live this time next year when Tennessee punches its first ever ticket to a Final Four. We'll see. We'll see. Kind of scatterbrain here. Short segment coming up in segment number 3. Do want to hit on an injury of note that we need to discuss from Tennessee football spring practice. That is coming up next as we continue on here. It's your Monday morning edition of Locked On Ball. Stay tuned.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the Bracket Breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
Tough Monday morning show as we look back at Tennessee's loss in the Elite Eight to Houston, the top seed in the Midwest region, 69-50, the final score. Yeah, we talked about it enough. Let's move on. Do want to answer any questions that you guys have. We'll do it on the mailbag show coming up tomorrow. So @_Cain at Locked On Vols. Please comment on the YouTube channel. Send in those questions. Would love to hear from you guys. We'll do it on tomorrow's show. Load them up, guys. Come on. We haven't had many questions in the last couple of weeks. Load them up. As soon as you're listening to this, send in a question if you got it, because you guys know me. I try to record early in the afternoon. All right, so let's shift gears now. Back to the gridiron for Tennessee football spring practice. And hey, low key, this is kind of a beat up team right now. Now, listen, there's two ways to look at it. Glass half empty with all these guys out, or glass half full, and you realize, well, you're not playing football right now in terms of the season. Nothing that you do right now counts in terms of a win or a loss. Coach speak will say everything leads to a win, everything leads to a loss. But right now, there's no wins or losses jumping into any columns. Okay, so it's okay. Now there's things that need to be productive getting done right now with your freshmen, your newcomers, and Nico taking a step and all that and more. But you do have a lot of guys out right now. A lot of off-season procedures, cleanup, stuff like that. Arian Carter kind of falls in that boat. But Jermon McCoy's out with a torn ACL. He's recovering right now. You've got, guys like Jordan Pilati, Jaden Pilati, Jaden Harmon. Two freshman linebackers are not full go right now. Caleb Herring's not full go right now. Jamal Wallace, David Hobbs, Christian Charles, Jeremiah's Hurd. Just trying to continue to think of all the guys who, it's the same guys every day, but there's a pretty big group. We could put a starting 11 out there, no jokes. We could put a starting 11 out there of guys who are injured right now. One big-time name has been added to that list, and he will be out for the rest of spring and be out for the next couple months, and that is tight end Miles Kitselman. Miles Kitselman, Austin Price, Fall Quest team broke the story a couple days ago, and it is Miles Kitselman who's going to be out for the next couple of months with a pectoral injury, and that's going to put him, in terms of early indication, you hope that he's back for the season opener. If not, sometime next year, obviously, but, whether it's week 1, week 2, week 3, we'll see. But the hope is to be back for the start of the season. For anybody that has gone through an injury like that to your pec, it hurts. It hurts. It hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. He's already had surgery to fix the issue and all that. Now it's about recovering and all that and more. So we'll be keeping track about him over the next couple of months. But hey, this is a huge deal. Okay? It's not season's over, 0-12, pack it up and go home. But this is a big deal. Miles Kitselman was arguably one of your best offensive players last year. Your best offensive players last year, okay? Dylan Sampson, Dante Thornton. Miles Kitselman might have been your third best offensive players, depending on how you look at things. Okay, he was really good. He's not going to catch you 11 balls in a game for 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's not how Tennessee utilizes their offense. What Tennessee does use the tight ends for to utilize their offense is the ability to go tempo so they don't have to sub for different packages. Tight ends got to be versatile, split out wide, run routes, got to be inside, inline, hand in the dirt, H-back. Tennessee has to be able to run in 11 personnel, and that tight end has got to be versatile. And Tennessee's got excellent play out of his tight ends. So many people are saying, why didn't Tennessee utilize the tight ends in the passing game? Why didn't Tennessee do the tight ends? I hear you. They are never going to be 10 reception guys. They're just not. But they're going to lead you. They're going to be close to leading you in touchdown receptions. Miles Kitselman had 5 touchdown receptions this year? Your leader in the clubhouse was Dante Thornton with 6. Okay? They love to throw it to the tight end in the red zone. But the tight end is so important. And also, you lost Holden Stays, Ethan Davis, who everybody loves and continues to say all the right things, and he looks like $1 million. I hear you, and I think eventually he's going to play this year no matter what. I think this is going to be the year Ethan Davis, proves that recruiting ranking and proves that, it wasn't all potential talk, that he can back it up. But here's the thing right now. That tight end room right now with Kitselman out has got hardly any experience. So you're looking at an Ethan Davis this spring and for the foreseeable future, moving on to the summer and towards the start of the regular season and fall camp and all that. Ethan Davis is your veteran in the room. And again, he's a third-year system guy. Like, he's been here. He's done that. He's got that. He's got the mindset you want. He says all the right things. He is so gifted. He is so athletic. the charge for him has always been wide receiver in high school. Can you handle blocking a defensive end? Can you handle, slipping in that split zone, going up and blocking a Mike linebacker? Can you be physical enough to do that? And he's grown. He's grown in those respects. But he's going to have to be the leader now. So Miles Kitselman, really, really good player. Tight end position, so important in this offense. And Miles Kitselman had a really, really good year last year. Tennessee found a diamond in the rough. And right now that diamond is out. And we'll see when he can get back next fall. And it stinks. It's unfortunate. But again, I think that he's a veteran player. He's a really, really good player in this offense. It's not going to take him an awful lot of time to kind of get back in the swing of things whenever that is. So we'll track his progress. We'll see when he's practicing, what he's doing. He's doing nothing this spring, but as the summer goes along into fall camp. But this ain't nothing. Is it the end of the world? No. But this isn't just an off-season procedure. No, this isn't an Aaron Carter, a David Hobbs, anything like that. This is something that you injured here in spring practice, required medical attention, and you're trying to get back for the start of the season. That's that. You couple that with Jamal McCoy, who is an All-American and arguably the best football player on your team, and he's, again, trying to get back for the start of the regular season. We'll see exactly when that is. That stinks. Those are some guys that you don't want out, but it also opens up the door. That tight end room with Deshaun Brame, Jack Van Dorselaer, Cole Harrison, who's a great ahead of those guys. There's some talent there. There's a lot of ability there. I think Jack Van Dorselaer is kind of more polished coming in than Deshaun Brame, and I think Deshaun Brame's going to be very much like a Joshua Joseph, James Pierce situation. It's those two guys coming in when Joseph saw the field for a ton as a freshman, but James took, Joseph still played, but James took the leap and was a superstar moving forward. I could see that with a Deshaun Brame, Jack Van Dorselaer type situation. A lot of opportunities there in that tight end room for some guys that I think can play. So that's kind of the latest there in terms of the injury front for the Tennessee football team. Tennessee football continue on spring practice week 4. They practice Monday night they scrimmage. Tonight they scrimmage. We'll hear from Josh Heupel late tonight. And then they'll practice on Wednesday and then practice on Saturday. And we're getting pretty close to the Orange White game on April 12th. So looking forward to that. Appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you so much for making this a part of your morning routine, watching us, listening to us. We're free and available. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Please help the show out by subscribing to the channel. If you're watching right now, 50% of the people that consume the show on YouTube are not subscribed to the channel. What a missed opportunity for this show, to help this show become one of the most Tennessee watched shows it already is, but continue to climb in that direction, right? Please subscribe. It would mean the world to me. And, of course, listening to us and downloading us wherever you get your show. Thank you so much, guys. You everydayers. The show's for you, man. And tomorrow's show definitely is for you because I'm going to answer your questions. It's tough. I know yesterday stunk. It's unfortunate, but time marches on. It's baseball season now. We'll see if Tennessee can go back-to-back and win another national championship. All that and more. This is Locked On Vols.